in any way we can, except when it comes to saving each other's lives, even if all we have to do is put our names on a bone marrow register. Not quite so big on that, are we?
There are 24 times more white people than black on the UK bone marrow register. If you're black or mixed race, join the register today. Visit aclt.org and see how you could be the one to save a life. ACLT, unite to fight leukemia.
So what's wrong with my car?
Lady, I don't know.
When can I get it back? Tomorrow?
Lady, I don't know. Are you tired of unreliable mechanics? Do you crave good all-round service? Try the auto repair shop that puts ladies first. O'Brien's, located in Locust Hall, St. George. O'Brien's are specialists in all types of vehicles. Brakes, shocks, engine, even your air conditioning. O'Brien's does it all. And O'Brien's uses advanced diagnostic equipment, so there's no guessing. At O'Brien's, there's a drop-off pickup service for all. If you are serious about driving worry-free.
So what's wrong with my car?
Okay, lady, it's the alternator.
Oh, okay.
Call O'Brien's at 437-9322.
Students to students, talk it out. Teachers to students, talk it out. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. Talk it out. Violence solves nothing. Talk it out. We're one family. The school to learn, don't go school to fight. Don't bring school to college on a gun, on a knife. Don't let the violence mess up your life. Fighting all the time, can't get your first prize. Daddy Lance, stop this skylarking. Wanna fighting like dogs out barking. I'm up look yourself, won't stop recording. Then he said they get to start parting. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. Talk it out. Violence solves nothing. Talk it out. We're one family. Don't let the anger build up. Don't shout. Triangle you on the soul. Breathe it out. The same energy that you take to use to fight. Same energy you could talk it out. You could say the wrong reason. Talk it out. Sure that we even. Daddy, this is non-violent season. Talk it out. Don't get in the beef with the body. Talk it out. Violence solves nothing. Talk it out. We're one family.
Campaigning against youth violence all over the world.
Right now, me I gonna give you a thing called feel up your breast. Whether you have big breasts or some itty bitty titty, to pick up cancer in them would be such a pity. How to prevent that cancer, we're not really sure. And although we are try hard, we still can't find no cure. So early detection is your best protection, and self-examination could be your salvation. So look good upon them appearance and investigate them texture, and appreciate your own breast tissue architecture. In other words, make sure say you utilize your hands to get yourself acquainted with your mammary glands. So the minute there's a change and you notice something strange, you can pay your doctor a visit so them can find out what is in it. And if cancer is the diagnosis, you could have a good prognosis if you catch it before it starts to spread. Cancer no means say you have to dead. So touch yourself, feel up your breast, put your hand on your chest. Self-examination is the key if you want to catch cancer early. Yes.
246 Bayesian Vibes Radio, alerting our female listeners to early prevention of cancer.
I was shocked to discover that I'm at a high risk of prostate cancer because I'm black. Guys, we've got to keep talking about our health. So if you're a black man over the age of 45, go and have a chat with your GP or speak to our specialist nurses. Men, we are with you.
If you would like to advertise your business anywhere in the global diaspora, if you'd like to sponsor, partner 246BayesianVibesRadio.com. All you need to do is go to the website, click on the Get in Touch page, and all the information you need is right there to contact our manager and our marketing and advertising team. So if you'd like to sponsor a show, partner the station, advertise your business anywhere in the global diaspora, go to our website, www.246BayesianVibesRadio.com, click on the Get in Touch page, and all the information you need is right there to contact our marketing and advertising team. 246BajanVibesRadio.com is looking for presenters, male and female. If you want to join 246BajanVibesRadio.com, you can call, WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram, +44 7956 146 221. You can WhatsApp, message, Telegram, +44 7417 584 733. If you want to be a presenter right here anywhere in the global diaspora, get in touch with us, and we got what it takes to take you to the next dimension. Keep it locked. We got it, baby.
Join me, DJ AC, every Sunday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. until midnight, London, UK time, for 4 hours of musical entertainment here on 246BajanVibesRadio.com.
This happens when you text and drive.
You're listening to 246 Bajan Vibes Radio.
Hi, I'm Joan, and my co-host is Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen. My co-host is Joan. You can catch us on 246 Bajan Vibes Radio.
Each and every Sunday morning, 12 till 3 a.m., 7 till 10, or 8 till 11 p.m. with a program entitled Enriching Your Mind, Your Body, and Soul. Right here on the world's number one, 246 BajanVibesRadio.com. Don't you miss it.
Hi.
Welcome to Enrichment of Mind, Body, and Soul. How are you guys doing? I hope you're finding the time to pause. I hope you're finding the time to do some self-reflection. I hope you're finding the time to really look deep within yourself. Because many times we are on the go all the time and we're really not finding that time to do that introspection. But we are here this evening to let you know that you can pause And you can find some time for yourself, because look, we are over the 6th month of 2025. What have you achieved for the last 6 months? What have you achieved? Or what goal you're working on that needs to be a little bit of tweak, a little bit of turk, as you would say, because many times we set these big lofty goals at the starting of 2025, and we're at this midpoint, and we're like, oh my goodness, this is really not working out for me, but that is why you can pause and you could do a reset. It's okay to reset. It's quite okay to reset. And resetting, you're not starting over. Resetting, you are starting with a plan now, because you cover the first half of this year and you see the things that is working and the things that is not working. So now you can able to put things into perspective, and you can say, you know what? This is going to work. This is not working. I could eliminate this. I could add something else and see if it's going to work. It's quite okay. It's quite okay. And this evening, we got such an interesting topic, because we all could relate to this topic. Backpack and baggage, what high school taught us about strength. And a few weeks ago with Will Williams, we did the topic of looking back for strength. And it is very important that we really look back at certain experiences in our lives. And our high school, or even our primary school, those are the years that really help to shape us. And we really need to look back at those years and gather some strength, because many times we are struggling. So this evening, we just want to welcome you to the High School Talk. This is High School Talk this evening, where we're going to explore the stories, the struggles, the strengths that helps to shape us then and now. In today's episode, Backpacks and Baggages, what high school taught us about strength, we're unpacking the emotional weight many of us carried through our teenager years. From quiet moments of resilience to the lessons hidden in the heartbreaks, we reflect on how those formative experiences continue to shape our creativity, our courage, and the capacity for growth. Whether you're a student or a parent, or someone simply looking back to move forward, this conversation invites you to honor your past, not as something to escape, but as a source of strength. Honor your past, because your past is what gives you all the meat that you can work with to move forward. So that's why many times when we sit down and we are processing a lot of stuff, we got to look back. And not looking back with judgment, it's looking back that we can gather the strength and gather all the information that could help us as individuals to move forward. Sometimes we got to heal. Sometimes we got to forgive some students that did us wrong at school. It's so many things so that could help us to move forward into the future. But this evening, we got an amazing guy here, Marcellus, and he's going to really help us to really understand how he did it. To each his own, but he's going to give us some pointers, because what he did, his experiences that he had through high school and college, because he graduated from high school and college at the same time. At the same time, high school and college at the same time. So he's going to tell us how he did it. We don't know, but he got to explain all of that to us so it can help other students and even parents could understand how they can help their children to navigate this high school, even the younger years. How can we help our children? And he also wrote a book because he got all these experiences and he decided to become a poet and to be creative more and to write a book. So this evening, we're going to sit back and we're going to relax and we're going to listen to Marcellus as he explains to us how he did it. But as I said, to each his own, but we can gather a few pointers from him, how we can really help ourselves as parents and as students as well. And we just want to say congratulations to your mom, Marcellus, and congratulations to you as well, because this had to require a lot of discipline.
Absolutely.
For you to graduate from college and high school at the same time. A lot of discipline was required from you, and you were able to share some stories with us and to help other kids who are going to be watching this evening or to watch it on the replay, how they can gather some strength from you. So you're going to share it all for us this evening. And at least we want to hear 2 of your poems at least,
Okay.
So let those line up for us.
Okay. Excuse me. So my computer did not charge, but I'm about to switch to this real quick. I'm about to join the room real quick. Can I get 1 second?
No problem. Do your thing. We're waiting here. You're going to come right back. No problem.
Absolutely.
Marcellus.
It's okay.
Yeah. So, it's truly amazing when we have youths that could, that they can share their stories, because you know what? When youths share their story, they help other youths. So we decided, Marcellus' story was so unique. So myself and Joan, we said, we really got to share the story with Marcellus. So this evening, we're going to give him the platform. He's going to share his story with us and help us understand again how he really did all of what he's doing, right? Yeah. But I'm not going to take up any more of his time. I'm Lady K, Holistic Health and Wellness Coach and a co-author of 2 books, Your Gut in You and Self-Care is Intentional. And it's both available on Amazon. The links are in the notes below. And also we have 2 magazines, the digital and the hard copy. So the digital, whichever part of the world you're living, you can have the digital version. If you're living in the United States, you can have the hard copy.
Right.
So we just want to really help you, the individual, to experience transformation and to also to experience growth and success and live in abundance and live in the overflow. So this evening, I'm just kindly asking you, if you know someone who can benefit from this topic we are sharing this evening, kindly share us out. Yeah. And if you're new to enrichment of mind, body, and soul, we just want to welcome you, a very special welcome to you. And don't forget to subscribe to Soul Light and Body YouTube channel, that you would never miss none of these great episodes we bring every week for you. So I'm going to toss the mic now to Lady J. Lady J, take the mic. Marcellus, thank you so much for sharing your story with us this evening. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Great opening as always. Look where we are at this point in time. July, almost to the conclusion. Where are you in your junction at this moment? How are you feeling?
How I'm feeling? I'm feeling pretty good, actually.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I hope everybody is feeling good, because we're feeling good too. Because first of all, we are so grateful to be in a space such as this, where we can share, empower others, and really live in a life of service. Because when you can live, it's a joy when you can live a life of service, serving others, bringing information, and just sharing stories. And like what Marcellus is going to share his story tonight with us, but showing yourself love and compassion and giving gratitude is super, super important, because those are tools that can help us all to propel on our journey. There are moments you may feel low. There are moments that you may feel like giving up. There are moments that you might feel not assured of yourself. There are moments that you feel like you may say, why is this happening to me? Because you might have not been moved far along as you thought you might have been. because you're looking back at 2025 at the commencement and all of as Lady K spoke about, all the dreams and everything that you aspire for, your list, your goals and everything. You might have one word that whatever your one word might have been for this year, if it's empowerment, intentionality, whatever your one word might have been. And you might be looking at yourself in this moment and saying, where am I? We want to tell you tonight, don't be hard on yourself. We want to tell you tonight is that you are special, and that you are amazing, and that you are unique, and that you have something special within. So tap into that. Lean into your inner wisdom. Lean into that thing. Lean into that inner voice. And let that inner voice be the tool to guide you forward. You might be moving through rejections. You might be moving through no's. You might be moving through setback. But those things are just to take those things as a level and use it as a level of redirection. You're going to move forward, because those are moments that you're learning in those moments. You're learning in those moments. And every season that you move through, there is so much growth and evolution for you. For me, I could talk, and I know that I have not responded a lot on social media because there's not a message, but I've been going through a season too where, moving from one place to another with my client and stuff like that. But there is growth, and there is such an empowerment in moments when you move through a season. And when you move through a season, just be calm. I know it's easy to say, but when you can get calm and balance and get centered and stay grounded, there's a level of clarity for you. There's a level of clarity, because then you could move clear. Because then you're looking at, well, what is my next and what am I moving to? And be grateful for the moment that you're in and what you're leaving from. Because there is so much experience that you've learned in that space. It might be bad, good, whatever. Because they're all experience you're learning. It depends how you look at it. And so you're learning from those moments, and you're taking all those experience, because there's some way that Karen and I noticed and read that experience teaches us, or experience we earn dividends. So it's a lot of wealth in that. There's a lot of knowledge in that. And then you learn from those experiences, and those experiences empower you to move forward better, make you make better choices, make better decisions, show yourself more love and compassion, not being hard on yourself. Because this is a journey. It's life. We're growing. We're moving to a next evolution. And whatever it may be for you tonight, you might be going through a season tonight. Show yourself grace. Show yourself love. Show yourself compassion. Because understand that it's just a learning experience. And when you look back 5 years or a year from now, you can say, okay, I understand. I've learned so much in this space that I've been through. But it gave me the level of strength. It gave me the level of courage. It gave me the level of determination. And I've got the resilience that I can move forward with strength, level of tenacity, and that I can propel forward confidently. Because you grow in those spaces as you move through. Tonight, we want to tell you, celebrate your wins, whether big or small. You work hard to get there. Celebrate that. And show yourself that level of gratitude as we start with, because gratitude is such a great tool. And focus on your mindset. Because when you have an open mindset and not a fixed mindset, then you can let things in. You can look at things from new perspective, greater insights. So we just want to congratulate all of you who were watching us live and then catch us on the replay. Celebrate who you are, because you are special. And know that you're going to finish strong in 2025, wherever you're at. Because wherever you're at, that's the place you need to be. So just hold fast and hold strong on that. We just want to thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel. We just want to thank you for supporting us without signing up for our magazine and focusing your self-care, which is so super important. Because in order for us, as we speak about, and many times we talk about achieving those goals, celebrating those wins, and want to aspiring for greater things. But in order for us to enjoy all of that, we have to be well. We have to focus on our microbiome, our gut health, so that we can have a level of clarity. We got to focus on self care, take care of ourselves, so that we can be healthy and strong and have the level of vitality to enjoy all of those goodness, the goodies, and let go of the things that don't serve us well. Let go of what not serving you well. It's weighing you down. Because in order to get all the goodies to come in, we got to make clearance. Make clearance. I know sometimes it's easy to say because someone have done you bad, someone hurt you. But please just find a way within you, in your own time, because it's your own. Find some time that you can able to move forward and lightly, and so that you can let all the goodness that the universe has got a chance to give that to you. And it's waiting and it's knocking. So let's let it in and let go that what's not serving you well, whether it's within or without your outer environment or within, so that you can able to live the life of abundance, so that it can flow into you and you can able to enjoy the level of bliss, because we all want to live our best. We want to enjoy the fullness of life. So everything as I spoke about is just so that you can listen to it and think about it to yourself and reflect in yourself. Where am I? And am I reflecting all of these things? My environment? Am I taking good care of myself? Am I nurturing myself? Am I nourishing myself? Or am I choosing what's choosing me? Because where we put our energy, that is so important. How are we showing up in spaces? Are we coming with a level of vibration that we can change the energy in that room? Are we living in our higher self? So tonight, sit back, relax. We got a great show for you tonight. An amazing guest, someone who has graduated from college and high school simultaneously. An amazing man. Congratulations to his mother, who has been his rock, his foundation, and his family to help him and continue to propel him forward. We are proud of you, Marcellus, and your family, your mom and your family, for helping you to be who you are. And your colleagues, you guys rally around each other. We know that you just came back from uh, event from Wisconsin. You're going to share more about that in the discussion tonight. So we just want to thank you for, we know you're very busy, but thank you for taking the time to be here and share space with us and to enrich our audience tonight in everything that you about in your story. So thank you for being here. My name is Lady J, certified holistic health and wellness coach, and so many other things that I do along with my sister, Lady K. So we're just happy to share space here with you tonight and grant you the privilege that you can able to enjoy the show tonight with us. Sit back, relax, find a comfortable space in your home, and invite a friend to join you to watch. Thank you for being here. Marcellus, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here.
No problem, actually, and thank you for inviting me here as well. It's a very rare occasion for me to have time to do these types of things, and I'm happy that I have the chance to be a part of this. Just getting into high school overall, though. Oh, not sure if I should get into high school or to Wisconsin Madison, but I think Wisconsin Madison may be a shorter story. But actually, I'll lead it into high school because it all comes full circle. Yeah. So I've had this competition that I've looked forward to called Brave New Voices. It is an international competition between poets across the different states, and it brings everyone to one location for everybody to compete or do community events or anything that revolves poetry, freestyling, rap, anything that requires lyricism at all. It's all in one place. I came to this event with my team in Baltimore City, also known as the BCYPT, Baltimore City Youth Poetry Team. And over the upcoming months, we have been preparing for this competition, but also we kept an open mind for the workshops, the other activities they'll have at the event. I believe the 16th Yes, I believe the 16th of this month we flew out to Wisconsin-Madison, and this year B&V, our Brave New Voices, was being held at a college campus. It was the University of Madison, Wisconsin, and all of the events and everything was held there. It was very nice. We came into it. We all had separate dorm rooms, and it was a very interesting experience as I've never actually been in a college campus that way before. So seeing the dorm rooms and how big a campus is, it was all kind of a new experience for me, minus like the school tours that we did to other colleges. Actually being here, I felt immersed in the atmosphere of the college. It was very interesting. But first day, it was all about just getting used to it. It was all about getting used to it for sure. Wisconsin is a lot more active than Baltimore. Actually, I was very surprised to see that.
Wow.
Yeah. But second day at BNV was a lot more getting into, because all the competitions and stuff didn't start till day 3. So day 2 was all about just feeling the area, how it was, how interesting it was, and I forgot how actually the day went because it was so crazy. We decided to stop by a Target to get some supplies and stuff for our dorm rooms and stuff, because all the teams had separate dorm rooms and stuff. It was split between 2 people, or on rare occasions it would be given 1 room to 1 person. We had bathrooms on the same floor for the young adults, the adults, for women, for guys, all of it. Just and a lot of us would have to take turns because there was not enough showers for everybody that was up there in the same floor. It was like 2 showers. But no, so the second day, we spent that day going out and really bonding as a group. First, we went out to Target, as I just said, to go get supplies for our dorm rooms and stuff like that. And actually, the prices aren't actually bad there either, especially with a whole bunch with what Trump has done. Not trying to make it political, but what Trump has done with like tariffs and international trade, and also how inflation seems to be rising in all these different places. I definitely was surprised to see that the prices here were actually very tolerable and manageable. So
Wow.
I was very happy to see that. Yeah. But after we had gotten some supplies, we decided to go out for some food, and I forgot the exact location that we were at. I'd probably have to look through the footage that I had. But where we were, it was kind of like a town center, if that makes sense. There was a whole bunch of things everywhere. There was a nice little Japanese spot that was selling like candies and Japanese merchandise, anime, manga, all that stuff. It was very interesting to see. There was Raising Canes. There was this nice little fountain in the middle as well. It was like a
Wow.
water sprinkler. Everybody was getting wet. That was around. It was hilarious. Oh yeah, and there were badgers there. I guess that's Wisconsin Madison's thing. It's just badger mascots. It was a thing I saw a lot while I was out there also exploring. But yeah, Raising Cane's there was actually solid for me personally. I've never really been a huge Raising Cane's fan, but I like how they dealt with it in Wisconsin Madison. And when we went back to our dorm rooms, oh, sorry, we didn't go back to our dorm rooms. There was actually a opening ceremony for all the poets that are coming at a location that was near the town center. We decided to all regroup there as a group, and everybody that was also at BNV was also making their way there as well. And it was being held in this little theater room where they had people across across Madison, I believe at universities or high schools. They came there to show their talents because they wanted to show off the youth and all that. They showed a bunch of musicians. There were singers as well. They did some jazz. They wrote some rap. It was very interesting
Nice.
to see. Yeah. And then they brought in these group of poets that are a part of this program, I believe, called The First Wave. And they had this very theatrical poem about an old world and a new world and kind of how the two
Wow.
transition
That's
into one
interesting.
another. It was very interesting to see. You know, one thing in poetry that you never really see is another person carry another person on their shoulders. That was something
Wow.
very interesting to see mid-piece. But it was all very good. The writing was very good. The performances, it was all very good. And the one thing I tend to love about these events as well is that everybody in the community is so respectful and kind to one another. After they were done performing, people would approach one another saying, "Hey, we really like what you did, yada, 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 yada."
Nice,
And it
nice.
wasn't just filler. Nah, it was just straight up support for what they're doing. And I love how the community interacted with one another. But after opening ceremony was done, they hosted this event shortly after called Queerosity. And the title kind of speaks for itself, but it was about people within like the LGBTQ community speaking up about their experiences being who they are. And they would just go on stage and share poems. And yeah, no, I just believe just poems. They just went up there and they spit all their poems that had to do with what they've been through in life and just being very vulnerable. It's a very vulnerable open space. I forgot the poet that they had their feature, but they had a nice poem about meeting an ex in a coffee shop, and it's crazy how much you can do with just that concept in its own. But it was a very engaging piece and it was really good. But everybody went up there to spit some stuff. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see everything that everybody did because I had to take some phone calls outside of the room, so I didn't really get to see a lot of the poems that they did. But I know that two of the members in my team personally went up there. Oh, my fault, not personally, but two members of my team went up there. And I know the pieces that they spat and they're really good. And even though I was outside taking phone calls, I heard the audience being very engaged with it. They were snapping, clapping. It was all very good. So yeah, it was a lot was going on in that room. But after Curiosity was done, we went back to the dorm rooms, and I was also surprised to see, because we were on the 4th floor of the college dorm, we saw that in a conference room they were actually holding a little community event for all the poets who aren't competing, just come together, play video games, connect with one another. It was very interesting to see. But skipping through just a little bit so we can get back to the main topic at hand. Semifinals was the next day. My team drew first, and semifinals was really good. Yeah. My team sent me up to spit a solo individual poem.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had to set the tone for how the rest of the performances would go.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, I had to bring that to an absolute 10. I showed off. I did really good. Audience was very engaged with the message I was sharing. I believe I could share that poem for y'all. But later. It was very good though. All the teams brought up and stepped up their A game. Last year, there was a couple teams that came back for this year. The teams last year, they really improved on their poetry. It was very good to see. But me and my team progressed to the second semifinal round. And during round 2, we also showed out with some new pieces. And it was also very good. We got some nice reactions. And we did so good that we made it to final stage. So we made it to final stage. And we made a top 4. We made a 4th place. First place went to Bay Area, California. They did really good. They showed out. It was all very nice. We had Houston, Texas as well. It was just it was great. It was so awesome and amazing. We also had a poet that also featured, and she is actually a Grammy-winning poet as well. And her name is, give me 1 second, because I actually had the opportunity to follow her on Instagram.
Wow.
Her name was, I believe, Tank. Her name was Tariana Tank Ball, and she was a poet that featured at the event. And her poetry was very good, soft-spoken, but also intensified when it needed to be. It conveyed the right amount of emotion to really touch people's hearts, and I loved it. But all in all, Wisconsin was very interesting. The food as well, they had macaroni pizza. It was interesting to see, but
oh, good food.
yeah, it was really good. But all in all, with the poetry, I want to have the opportunity to actually go to that event if it wasn't for high school. Because I went to Paul Laurence Dunbar in Baltimore, Maryland. That's where I reside in. I went to Paul Laurence Dunbar. I didn't know that I was getting into it at first, but I ended up joining this program called P-Tech. This P-Tech program is actually an entrance into the medical field, and it's a program being held at the school. So I technically attend the school, but I also technically don't attend the school. It's kind of it's a mixed situation.
Right, right.
But my first year as a freshman, it was very interesting because obviously when you come into high school, you don't know people at all. So I had to make sure that just for myself, I made a good impression on people. A reputation mattered to me a lot as coming into this new school. I really want to show off and show myself as a person that I didn't get to at my last. Um, so when I came to this school, I was able to connect with so many people, and they really loved my personality and how I spoke. I was also very soft spoken. I never knew that poetry would be in the cards for me, but when they announced clubs for the school after being there for about 4 months or so, or 2 months. No, it was in October and I came in at August. Yeah. So after 2 months, they showed the clubs and I decided to join poetry club, debate club, social media, which was just posting reports online or actual like little newspapers or whatever about the school, what's going on and stuff, whether it's the wrestling team or the basketball team, just keeping everybody around the school updated on everything going on. And despite me doing all those clubs at Dunbar, the one that really drew me in was poetry. And at first, I had this poem. It was a very interesting poem. Excuse me. It was a very interesting poem that I wrote for my first. It's about an anime called Dragon Ball Z. It was a very interesting poem I was tackling. I didn't know where I was going with it because I never wrote poetry before. But the one thing that I loved about it is that my coach, Black Chakra, I call him Mr. Jacob, he kept me and my group very engaged, and he really helped us improve on our craft. And even our freshman year, I eventually wrote a poem that was a lot more vulnerable about the situation I was in being in a medical field type program. And I shared this poem with my school as well as other people that were also in the club. And I didn't know just how many reactions you could get for just saying words. Obviously, when you're listening to music, that's something else entirely, because with poetry, you're not backed up by a rhythm or any beat or whatever. It's just you, your voice, your cadence, your projection, your emotion. And I didn't think I would be able to get that many reactions out of it because this is my first time doing poetry. And it wasn't just my school either. After we performed at our school, I actually felt the thrill of performing, how you could turn nervousness into excitement, and how you can turn that trembling into your voice into genuine projection and emotion. It was very interesting to see. And at first I was reading off my phone, but eventually I turned to memorization, and then memorization turned into passion, and then passion turned into a lot of emotion, and it was just very good to interact with people in that way. I performed at my Baltimore City Design School. I went there for a competition against other schools in Baltimore, and actually, I can actually show you real quick because me and my team competed, and I had the privilege of winning third place. That was very good. Thank you. And the ones that won first and second place was actually two of the members that were from my club personally. So Dunbar just came back to the school with 3 wins consecutively. It was all very good. And obviously all of us in our poetry was very good. So when you're kind of top 3, it's kind of hard to choose because we've all been progressing with one another slowly over time. But I'll also say that some poets were definitely better than others, and I was just getting into my craft. So the fact that I made a top 3, I was very proud of myself. And I still am now, actually.
You have a right to. Yeah.
And it was hard for me though, because I was trying to find my style in poetry, and even now I kind of find it difficult to find my style. But I can definitely tell that my writing has definitely improved. One thing that they spoke about in my club is we would try and speak about anything that was social injustice or whatever, let the community know what's going on around the world, what's going on with our community, our people, what's going on, what happens when you're colored, and these injustice or these bad scenarios that you always end up in and you get no justice for it. We speak up about that. And I would write so much about social injustice that it was hard for me to talk about vulnerability. And so it was difficult for me. But all in all, while I was figuring that all out during freshman year, summer of freshman year came around. And that's when the real P-Tech stuff happened. As I thought I would actually get to enjoy my summer. I didn't know that, and this was kind of on me for not looking into it, I didn't know that I had to take college classes over an entire summer from like June to August just doing straight college classes. So when I came into it at first, I was very surprised, but I also felt very good that I was actually at a college campus at the age of 14. It was very interesting to see I was taking these classes as a freshman, especially for my first time in high school. It's like so much stuff being thrown at me at once. So that's how it felt. At college, they definitely do not treat you like a teenager. They treat you like an actual adult. You definitely have the privilege of leaving a classroom whenever you want. You don't got to ask to go to the bathroom. You can literally just go. And if you want to go get some food, just hop out of class and go to the nearest Popeyes or whatever. You can go ahead and do that. But it also comes with cons. Homework assignments like that, if the teachers don't want to give you any leeway, they will not. Extra credit is completely up to the teacher. It is not something that's just mandatory for the school, and it really just comes down to how you manage it. And it almost felt like, in a way, I had to force myself to mature and or grow up, because of how college was. I couldn't just be a teenager there. So I won't lie when I say that college classes are definitely difficult, especially for the mind of a 14-year-old. I was doing computer science. I was doing coding. I was doing psychology. I was doing sociology. It was a lot of different classes. Yeah, it was interesting to see for sure. But yeah, it was very interesting. But because I wasn't the only one that signed up for my program, a lot of my peers as well, they also got to go. And because of that, I actually had to make connections with a lot of my peers, whether it was help for certain assignments. Hey, I missed class this one day. Can you update me on anything? Because even though college teachers can update you on it, it's not completely mandatory for them to update you on anything, because you're expected to be to class unless you send in a message like you were sick or something. But if you forget that, that's your responsibility. So I had to make a lot of connections with my peers and stuff like that, which led to me being more connected to people within my program, not just people around my school. And I was able to make a lot of meaningful connections through that. But that was very good, actually. Oh, sorry. I was trying to remember what I was going to say. We got paid for taking college classes through a program called YouthWorks, that we would sign up for early April, late January, somewhere between that gap. We would sign up for YouthWorks, and we would be positioned to work at the college and take the college classes. So we weren't just being forced to take college classes without anything going on. We got paid for it, fortunately, and that was good. But TLDR, college during the summer was very difficult my freshman year, and I was thinking, okay, now that that's done, I'm going to have to take it next summer and the summer after and the summer after. I was completely wrong when I found out that my first semester of my sophomore year, I'm actually having my college classes entangled with my high school classes at the same time. So that was interesting. I was very shocked by it, because I was thinking, if it was this hard during summer, it's definitely going to be this hard during high school. But some classes were easier than others. I had this, I want to say fitness, but I did learn a lot about the body and going over like cardio and all
Your
that.
anatomy and physiology.
Yeah. And that's what I did with anatomy and physiology. I had that during my first semester of high school, and my college teacher was actually she was very kind, because she gave us a lot of leeway. And I won't say she was necessarily flexing, but she definitely said a lot that she was going easier on us than a lot of college teachers were. And at first I was taking it for granted. I was thinking, oh yeah, she's just trying to flex or whatever. No, she gave us a lot of extra credit. She gave us a lot of opportunities to really make up our grade for anything that we may or may not have missed. Or no, anything that we may have missed. And she was very communicative when it came down to how to finish these assignments and stuff. She would help us take notes during the class to help us with any future exam. She had us play Jeopardy, actually, to figure out certain questions that were going to be on the exam. It was very spontaneous, but some questions on the Jeopardy were going to be on the exam. And the fact that she had us all engaged, it helped us memorize a lot of this stuff, but it also helped us, feel excited about what was coming. So no, she definitely gave us a lot of leeway as high school students. Even though she was a college teacher, she could have definitely went harder, but she didn't. I'm very grateful for her. but that wasn't a lot of college teachers, unfortunately. My sociology class was very difficult, but we spoke a lot about things that were happening socially. But anyway, the
Natalie,
college.
Natalie
Oh,
is asking. Natalie said, "It sounds like you had a well-rounded experience, Marcellus.
mhm.
What were
Hi,
your
Hi,
biggest
Natalie.
observations and reflections throughout or after this experience?"
That's a good question, Natalie.
It is actually. It's a very good question. Okay. My biggest observations and reflections. My biggest observations were definitely college campuses are very big and it's definitely hard to navigate when you have no idea where you're trying to go, especially when your classes are at one building or the other building. You have no idea what that building is. Um, but I also saw that a lot of my community or a lot of my classes or a lot of my peers were very involved with one another. We had a lot of communication. Sometimes we would have our little study groups going on if we were preparing for an upcoming exam, and it was very fun quizzing one another about these certain questions and stuff. Because when you're taking classes like anatomy and physiology, you have to remember these different things like where's the bone marrow located or stuff like that. It was very hard to just memorize on your own. So an observation I saw would just be community, really. And I mean, people are just very involved with one another. And things to reflect on is definitely don't take certain college teachers for granted because they can give you a lot of leeway. And also, man, college food isn't all that for me personally, from my experience at BCCC. Um, but also not all of college is going to be boring, and there are a lot of teachers that'll make things very engaging and very fun. I had a English college teacher as well taking English 4, and one of his assignments were actually, or one of his projects for class were performing a piece or like a poem. So the fact that I had that on deck, everybody was like, "Oh, come on, how you gonna let the poet do this? He's already good at it, yada 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 yada." But I got to show off in my classroom, and there was a lot of it was just so fun, and just reflecting on that, it just lets me know that college genuinely isn't a bad place to be. It is really fun. It's not really something to be worried about because even though the college that I was at isn't really known for being very hectic or party like whatever, you can still have fun in these classes that you would think would be very boring otherwise. So reflecting on it, I take moments like that not for granted. I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to have a good class, but also one that I could be very involved with where I could show my true authentic self and not get ridiculed or criticized for it. In fact, it'd be supported and encouraged to keep being me and do me. Um, so reflecting on all that, it's very good. It was really, really good. Yeah. And yes, I did meet high school students on campus because of my program personally. I didn't see anybody from other schools around Baltimore attend uh, the college that I was at. So I would think that it was just my program, maybe another one that just went under my nose. But I never saw any other high school students there other than my own class.
There are some other questions Dr. Ross is asking
Hi,
you.
Dr. Ross. How you doing?
How would
Nice
you
to be
better
here.
prepare for such a program? How would you improve the program you attended?
Good
How will
question.
this experience impact your next move? What did mom do that kept you going?
That's a good one, Dr. Ross. Thank you.
It is. It's really good. I'll see if I can answer this actually like chronologically. Okay. So what I would do to better like prepare for this exam is notice you're gonna need a lot more than like 3 notebooks to take notes on. College classes, if you need notes, they're gonna give you like 5 seconds to jot those things down on your piece of paper, and you have to hurry up and make sure you have those down. That or you take a quick picture. So definitely be prepared to have your phone on deck to take pictures. Don't think that you can get away with just little small talk or whatever. It can be very embarrassing to get caught out. It's one thing in high school, it's another thing in college because they can put a lot of, I believe the word is repercussions on those types of actions, or you will face some type of, if they want to, you'll face some type of punishment for like talking during the class, whether it's them saying get kicked out the class or whatever, or they want to push you out. It doesn't really matter. But what matters about it is if they do kick you out of class, just know you talking or whatever is going to stop you from getting important notes or details that you need for any upcoming assignment or class or whatever. Definitely prepare. Make sure that you check your college website or wherever your assignments are on. Make sure you please check that always on the daily. There were so many instances where I would just take some time. I managed to pass all my classes, by the way. I never failed any. But there were times where I definitely forgot to look at my assignments, and I would just be chilling. I would be thinking, things are going way too smoothly right now. I feel like I'm definitely forgetting something. And then I would check my college website, and then it would be like, this assignment was supposed to be uploaded on January 18th. It's the 25th. And you get credits, or yes, you say they take credits off your assignment by day. So if you don't upload your assignment, you just lose more credits for that assignment. So after you miss like a day of not uploading or finishing the assignment, instead of getting 100, you can't. The best you can get now is like a 90 or an 80 or a 70. If you keep going by the day, it just keeps decreasing. So it's definitely important to check on the type of assignments and stuff that you have. How would I improve the program? I wish I had a lot more self-esteem at first. I definitely would have communicated a lot more with my peers, because I would have been a lot more involved with my classes. I would have spoke up a lot more. I would have raised my hand, but it was also a mix between high school and college students in certain classes. Over time, it did just become high school students. But if I was able to actually communicate with both college students and high school students, I'd probably have a lot more people that I could speak to about assignments or missing anything. But if you're just a social person overall, I would say it's important to speak to a lot of people, because you can do events and stuff like outside of school, or if there's lunchtime, you can talk to those same people and go off campus, go ahead and get some food near the closest convenience store or whatever. So to improve the program for me personally from a college perspective, or my fault, to improve the program for me from an experience point of view, I would say definitely I wish I had a lot more self-esteem and confidence to approach people, because that would have made my experience a lot more better. But just improving a program, I guess you could say from an actual college standpoint, learn how to navigate and speak to certain professors, because not everybody can be approached in the same way.
Sure.
Some people do require different types of, I'm not going to say persuasion. Some people do require different methods, if that makes sense, for communicating, because not everybody is just easy to talk to, unfortunately. So it's important to kind of either read the room or read the person, because that can definitely help you out when you're trying to get information that they could be withholding from you. So, and even though it's technically their job to give you information, a lot of people can impulsively just make things a bigger deal than what it is. So even the most simplest question can turn out to have the most complex solution, and it's just it's really difficult to navigate certain people. So from a college standpoint, just know how to speak to certain people, because that can improve the experience for you and just in college overall.
What did mom do that kept you going?
So because I was doing poetry club in college and high school all at the same time, a lot of the time I would get home at like 8 p.m. at night, and then I'd have to wake up the next day at 8 a.m. for high school. So I didn't really get a lot of time to really just come home and relax. But the one thing my mom did do is always make sure that there was definitely food on the table by the time I got back.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful.
And because
Beautiful
of that,
mom.
yeah, because I don't always feel like spending money throughout the entire day just to eat, especially since I don't come home till like way later than expected. So being able to come home and get some food and or eat some leftovers, it was something that really kept me engaged. Because I was like, okay, even though the day is gonna be hard, I get to come back home with some food that's slapping, it's good, I'm chilling, and I can just go in my room, watch a quick YouTube video, finishing the assignments I got to tonight, and just done. The day's over.
What's mom's name?
Letitia. Letitia P. or Letitia Pinckney.
Congratulations to Miss Letitia.
Yeah. She's happy for me as well.
She did a great job.
She did a great job.
Yeah, looking at you as a young man at this age, it speaks volume. and it speaks about a foundation that you're standing on.
Right.
You know, and in order for you to stand on that foundation, it had to be created for you to stand on. You just don't stand on that foundation just like that. And your mom created that foundation for you. Miss Letitia created that foundation for you so you can stand on as a young man, you know, and you could able to navigate and do all the things and that you are passionate about.
Right.
Because listening to you, the way how you're explaining all of these experiences, we can see the passion in you as you explain these experiences with us. And one thing that I like what you said, and I know Joan is going to like it as well, is that you look at everything as an experience. You didn't look at something bad, and you try to work around whatever the experience was at hand at that point in time, you know. And because of that, you now was able to see things through a different lens. Because of looking at experiences, you now as a young man, you look at things and said, you know what, okay, this happened, but I can do this. That's being creative. That's creativity come out there, because you look at one thing, but you said, you know what, it could be done this way too as well. You know, for instance, like you're giving students advice now that how you should really approach your professors when you're talking to them, you know, because everybody's not the same. And you also explain that college is not high school. It's two totally different spaces. You know, what you do in high school, it's totally different what is going to happen in college. So you now are helping students to understand how they can adjust, because it all call for adjustment.
Of course.
Because as you shift into different spaces, you have to adjust to that space that you're shifting into. As we transition into different spaces. And you know, it comes to mind as well, it's preparing you for life. Because as you move through life, you're going to be transitioning into different spaces in life. And as you transition in spaces, how would you adjust yourself as you go through this period of transition? But it all calls for adaptability. As we move through, you have to adapt. And I really like when you said, you really got to analyze the situation. Whatever space you're in, you analyze each and every professor that you're dealing with. You know, how am I going to approach Miss X or Mr. R? How am I going to approach these people? You know, so you analyze them, which is a very good idea. You analyze each one of them. So now when you analyze them now, you know exactly how to approach them, which is a very smart thing that you have done, you know. And you know, this conversation is very beautiful because you're helping youths to really understand how they can really navigate when it comes to high school and college, and how they can really understand all the components that is involved in both spaces. So when you show up in high school, this is what is going to happen. When you show up in college, this is what to be expected. Like, for instance, like you said, you got to make sure you check your computer when you got to hand in your assignments, because you're going to be losing credit if you don't hand it up on time. You know, all of those are little tips that you're giving to someone who is in high school and thinking about college. That's a tip right there that you're giving to them. So that's one tip. The other tip now is analyzing your professor. When you go into college now, you have to really focus this professor, what they like, what they don't like. You know, you analyze each one of them. So that's another tip that you're giving to us. So, you know, we are grateful for these tips that you're giving out this evening, because you're helping the generation who's going to come after you, you know, because many times you find that a kid may graduate from high school and they're at a crossroad. They don't know where to go. You know, what can you tell that kid how to navigate those waters?
How to navigate the waters of college?
Yes, of transitioning from high school into college. Because it's not everybody fortunate like you to do the same thing at the same time.
I guess it depends because unfortunately, a lot of people have the privilege of actually transitioning from high school to college when they actually age out. I never had the privilege. Well, it's a privilege in its own to be able to do them at the same time. But at the same time, people who are a lot more mentally developed and a lot more mature are able to actually navigate college, I feel, in a more efficient way than someone that's like 14 years old, right? But for those from high school to college, I say don't be afraid of it. Definitely welcome new experiences for sure. But from what I've gotten from my experiences, it's definitely going to be a lot at once. There's going to be a lot of spontaneous things that may or may not show up that you want to contribute to.
Right.
You're going to figure out new things about yourself as well, whether it's I never knew I would have this level of dedication, or I never knew that I could be this committed to something, because even if you're at your worst position, whether you're like rock bottom at college right now and you're like failing a lot of your classes, I've had instances where I had to bring back an F in both classes back up to like a B or a C. And it's like you really have this huge lock in, or like this huge, I guess, burst of determination. And you're just like, I really have to get this stuff done, because regardless of what's going on now, I have to really set what's going to go on for my future. So just when transitioning to high school to college, I really just say, just keep an open mind for the ways that you can change. Definitely keep an open mind for the progression that you're going to make, because you may feel that you're definitely going to be stuck, but nah, I don't think that's going to be the case with a lot of people. And you're going to find it in you to keep progressing and keep moving forward. And overall, you can always turn a negative into a positive. So even if you're worried about it, things will always just get better. So don't even stress it. Really, just that. Just don't stress it.
Wow, that is super. I like all the points that you've mentioned there, because as the question was asked by Lady K, with transitioning from high school to college, and for sure it is self-discovery, because you're learning about yourself all the time. You're moving from one space to another, and there's a process in that, and you're growing through that opportunity. And when you talk about determination, and have the level of courage, because though in that space and in that moment is when you're actually setting the tone for your future, as you mentioned, and you said, when you are keep an open mind, because that is why mindset plays such a key role, because when you can keep that open mind and not a fixed mindset, but a open mindset or a growth mindset, then you are you're giving yourself the level of opportunity, that you're letting new opportunity, you're letting the experience and flow through that, where you learn and you grow, and you giving yourself the all, because you're setting the tone for you. Who am I going to be? What am I going to become? Who am I becoming? And as you move on that level of trajectory, then you're moving higher than you see experience, and it's continue to shape who you are. Because you may, as you rightfully said in one of the part of the conversation, where you start is not where you're going to be finished, because it's a self-discovery, and you're growing and you're learning, and then you're reshaping and you're tweaking things. And so there's a lot of factors that are involved in how you set the tone to move forward.
I agree.
So
there's a question. Sorry, Lady J. There's a question from Natalie. How do you choose to show your appreciation each day?
Oh, that's a very good question, Natalie. Thank you.
So I won't lie about my personality. I can definitely be a rude person, but only really towards the people that I care about, because it's a level of vulnerability that I show. I'm very kind, but I'm also the type of friend to pick fun at people that I care about and stuff like that, but only in a way that they're comfortable with. I don't really do picking fun at people if they feel uncomfortable with it. No, I navigate that in a more respectful way. But to show my appreciation to people, I'll definitely just spend time with them, play video games with them, poke fun at them, and it'll happen, and vice versa. It'll be just, I show my appreciation in a very caring way, but also very carefree way, if that makes sense. I figure out a nice mix of both, but I also pay attention to people. I like to memorize their levels of comfortability. So whatever you're cool with, I'll keep that in mind. I got you. It's no problem. If I ever mess up once, I ain't going to take offense to it. Let me know. Hold me accountable for the things that I do. I'll try my best to improve in the best way I can possible to make you feel as comfortable as possible. Just that's how I feel about people that I appreciate. Personally, I'm going to care a lot about your comfortability. So I try to get in a nice mix of who I am naturally, but anything that goes beyond their boundaries, I try to keep it limited to a set amount where I can be all me, but also not enough me to make them uncomfortable, if that makes sense. So I just show my appreciation through that, really.
Wow. Dr. Russell, last question. What does a rainy day look like? What coping mechanisms are your go-to?
Okay. So
good question, Dr. Raz.
I interpreted that question in two ways, college or personal life. So in college, a rainy day to me looks like failing a lot of my classes, but a coping mechanism would be just stepping back, reevaluating, analyzing the situation, and just coming back to it when I can. Because if I'm not doing assignments and I'm like in this huge, like really bad mood or whatever, I'm not going to jeopardize me like doing my assignment in a worse way by going into it by already not feeling well and then putting in like half-baked work, right? So I'm just going to come back to that when I can, for sure. And the second question, the personal life, a rainy day will look like, I guess, a lot of moping around and just being very sad and miserable, hanging off the edge of your bed, laying on your stomach, stuff like that, just eyes closed, chilling. What I guess a coping mechanism for me is, I started getting into music last year in August. I would say that's definitely a coping mechanism for me, is just going through my music and figuring out what best suits the situation that I'm in now. Let me look for some relatability. Let me feel like I'm not alone real quick. Let me go ahead and get myself in that little flow state. And over, I guess, a small amount of time, I just end up chilling out. That, or I just speak to a friend. I would say that's just a coping mechanism for me. I like to surround myself with people that hold me accountable for my actions, as I said previously. So anyone that can definitely be like, hey man, it's all good, got it. I like friends that just keep it real with me 24/7. So
keeping it real. Right.
You know, I have two questions for you, Marcellus.
Yeah.
What can you say to a student who is experiencing internal conflict, right? And this student feels so isolated and alone. What can you what advice can you give to that student?
So if it comes down,
Lady J. Thank you, Lady J.
Absolutely good question. Yeah, because I won't lie, I also I've grown up being an introvert. So I never really was one for a lot of social circles and stuff. Because back in middle school, elementary, and that's why high school mattered a lot to me. My reputation didn't really have much of one. I didn't really have that many friends at all. And there were a lot of situations where I definitely felt isolated and alone. And what I have to say about those people in high school is, I know it's definitely going to be difficult, but find some way to put yourself out there, but definitely not with the wrong people. A lot of the time when you're feeling isolated, the thing you look for the most is community. And a lot of bad people will take advantage of that and put you in situations that you do not want to be in whatsoever, just for you to feel welcomed in a community that truly doesn't care about you. And it sucks because a lot of people get taken advantage of in situations like that, where they use their isolation as a tool, rather than a cry for help. And so I know there's a lot of people that end up committing like misdemeanors or crimes and stuff like that, not because they want to, they didn't want to vandalize, they didn't want to do these different things, but because they were looking for community, they felt forced to have to do it. So I just make sure that you're putting yourself out there with the right people. And if you have a hard time figuring out the right people to surround yourself with, just look for anybody that just seems to be surrounded by positivity. Don't navigate or find yourself gradually moving towards those who are obviously out to do bad things at all. Because a lot of people like that have their own set of issues to deal with, and the last thing you want to be is looped in or roped into any of those. So, nah, just find yourself surrounded by those who actually care about you, and just take your time with it. Don't force yourself beyond what you're not comfortable with.
My next question is, before I toss the mic to Lady J, is how can a student deal with a parent? Because we all are parents, and we would want to see, let's say for instance, we want to see our child be a doctor, right? And the child is very rebellious because the child wants to go into another direction, right? So can you explain to us how a student can deal with the difficult parents, and who want to see that child one way and the child wants to go in another direction? What advice can you give in that scenario?
I say that in situations like that, it's definitely hard, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to stand by your truth. I think a lot about my choices, like how they're going to impact me in the future. The last thing I would want to do is choose a career that I'm going to be miserable with for a majority of my life.
So
even
true.
if the pay is good, if I'm not feeling passionate about my workplace or the people
Right.
that I'm surrounded by, at the end of the day, it seems like I'm going to be working the solid 9 to 5, just feeling miserable and sad. And a lot of people in those situations can probably just think, oh, after this, I'm going to be all cool. But nah, I think you should spend majority of your life doing what you love. And so for those types of people that are living in their parents' houses and they aren't supporting the career choices that they want to make for their future, because obviously 18-year-olds or younger or even around that age don't have their entire life figured out. And
Sure.
it's like a lot of parents want to force this particular expectation, believing that it's definitely going to come to fruition. I think that's the word. Or it's just going to just happen. But at the end of the day, I think something as hard as being a doctor is only really going to happen if you really have the passion to do it, because being a
Sure.
doctor, even though I don't have the field or the field of expertise, or I don't have any experience actually pursuing the career, I know that it's a lot of memorization, because it's going to have to do a lot with the human body in a very complex way. You're going to have to figure out these different systems and stuff like that, but you're going to have to figure all of that out. And that's going to have to be a career choice that you're spending a majority of time towards, because being a doctor is not easy. It takes years to get certified. It takes years to get a master's. You have to take exams, not just school exams, either like actual medical exams to know that you're verified for this particular role or position. And it's like, that's a lot of expectations to put on somebody that doesn't even know what they want to eat tomorrow.
Right.
And I think in situations like that, anything that you do see yourself doing, definitely stick by your truth. But I also want to speak on behalf of the parents, because obviously they want the best for their child.
Sure.
They want their kids to be successful. They don't want their kid to end up being a failure. I just think that a lot of parents navigate it in a very positive but toxic way, because it
I like
almost feels
that.
like any alternative to that motive that they think you should have is either opposing what they want for you, which is success, and then it just turns out being a bigger situation than what it is. But I say stick by your truth, because at the end of the day, you are not your parents. And at the end of the day, you are your own person. So if there is something else that appeals to you, whether it's like, I don't know, being an artist, being a spaceship driver, or anything like that, anything you genuinely want to do, just stick by that, because it's going to make you the most happy. It's something that you're the most passionate about. And even though you don't have your life figured out, the one thing that you do know is that this particular role is better suited for you than what your parents are trying to put on you. So just work with what feels right to you. Honestly.
Dr. Ross is saying, I work with a summer camp in Baltimore. Let me know if you want to do a poetry hour. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. That's
We're going to give you all of Dr. Ross' information.
Yeah.
I would love it. Please provide my email. I'm pretty sure my email is here, right?
Yes. It's in the comments. Yes.
Okay.
Right. And I think I have another question for you, but I think what the question what that Dr. Roz post there now, I think this is the moment for you now to give us your poetry. Share, do us the honor of one of the poetry, because you're gonna do one at the closing of the show, but you be giving you the floor now to do one of it too, and then I'll come in with another question after that.
Okay. Right now y'all want a piece, right? I'm not sure if I can do my spoken word piece because all of my poems are choreographed and it's kind of hard to do with this going on right here.
Mhm.
But I can definitely afterwards I can provide some links or any type of stuff like that to show you on my spoken word piece. But what I can do is I can share a little poem that I made while I was at Brave New Voices.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Got you.
Breathe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
take deep breaths. Mm-hmm.
I've heard my father's voicemail more than I've heard him. It always gets forwarded. That's his way of picking up the phone. He hears acceptance within my disappointment that a transparent parent makes it apparent they don't want to be one. He's a deadbeat. I was born to rebirth his rhythm. He's upset we're at a different tempo, different temperatures, but we're cold to each other. I've touched more water in these poems than he's wrote fire in a rap he never rapped. Now his conscience wraps around him that the only time we've been connected is through the ice, as the last time we connected is when his cold feet made him flake on his kin. He didn't know he helped birth Midas. Now my mom paints me as the golden child, a contradiction to his lineage. I'm not a reflection of the man before me, rather the man after, as I change the legacy within my veins to never flake on my son, but let him shine like one, as he is a reflection of his father, and his is not a reflection of his. So in my son's reflection, he'll say he comes from strength, not weakness. I'm not afraid to weaken family chains. I only strengthen family ties, and my father was the loose end that got cut off, like how he does when I tried to call him. Your blood should weaken me, but it only makes me stronger. Empowers me to be better than you. My mom told me you were a rapper, but I'm guessing you dropped your pen not knowing I'd be the one to pick it up to rebirth it, because from here on, your blood won't be a curse. It'll be a gift.
What was behind that inspiration?
So remember the queerosity thing that I brought up earlier?
Right.
It wasn't just for me, I interpret it as the main focus was sharing your experience being LGBT, but it was actually just an open mic, which in the poetry community is just sharing pieces that you have. I wrote this for that, but as I said, I was busy outside taking phone calls, so I never got to. But I wrote this for that because I definitely did. I called my father while I was there, and then it went to voicemail. So I just decided to make a piece about that, for the open mic. So, yeah, I didn't end up sharing it, unfortunately, but I ended up writing that in like 5 minutes.
That was beautiful. That was really beautiful. Because
and you know, so go ahead, Lady J.
No, you finish. You finish what you were saying.
Listening to you is the message. It's the message behind the poem. Mm-hmm. And listening to the way how you express yourself, it comes from within you. And also you're very vulnerable to express the way how you feel, and many kids normally suppress that. They don't express it. So it's a good way how you chose poetry to express your feelings about things and events and experiences that happen in your life. And this can help someone who is watching this podcast this evening, that you can express yourself in writing, in poetry, or even in music. You can express yourselves in those forms, or you can even give speeches. So you now find an outlet where you can express yourself and you put the words together so beautifully.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Lady J?
No, let's give him a round of applause for that.
Yeah, he needs that.
It was so
Thank you,
beautiful,
thank you.
and the rhythm and the rhyme and everything that came through there. Talk a little bit about your experience at, is it P-Tech with
Yeah.
your colleagues, and what you guys, which you spoke, you're very big in community, and talk about how you guys came together on their moments that, which you draw strength from there in that moment, and they draw strength from you, and you guys talk it out. Describe that experience in that space.
Okay, so speak about my experience in college or
Is it
P-Tech.
P-Tech, right?
Okay. It's really just a mix of everything that I said before. But when it came down to my program, actually, I was more surprised to find out that I was more involved with my actual class than I was my actual school. Because like I said, we would have to go from high school to college, and that would be something that transitioned as we started taking college classes during high school. We'd actually have to go from high school, leave before school was actually over to catch a train all the way to the college so that we can attend classes there. But while we were there, actually, since we would usually go as a group, before class started, we would usually like go to this little food spot called Mama Mia's here in Baltimore. We would go there and we would just stop by, get some food, get some slices of pizza, barbecue bacon burger, whatever, how we feeling. And while our food was being cooked or whatever, we would all just sit down together and we would talk about the assignments. How you feeling about this upcoming exam? Well, I'm anxious about it, but I studied last night. Oh, thank you. All that. It was very nice. Moments like that definitely made the program, for as hard as it was, like a gift in disguise, definitely. It was nice to see these types of interactions between my class, but also me being involved with it too, because I would perform around Baltimore and stuff like that. So people would ask me questions about my poetry and stuff like that. It was very nice to just speak to everybody. A lot of people in my class were artists. A lot of people in my class liked a lot of music, and they would relate to the nearest or the newest, like Tyler, Kendrick album, whatever. It was nice to just have experiences like that. So P-Tech overall was a very difficult experience with the college classes in high school, and it sucks because it feels like every single week you had a very difficult class. One of my most difficult actually was microbiology. Oh my gosh.
Microbiology.
Yes, it was so difficult. I had to learn about like cockeyes, COCCI.
Right.
Yeah, I had to learn about like those and all these different. They have so many shapes. It's crazy. There's so many different types, and it's just it was a very difficult program for sure. But the moments that you had with your peers and the friends that you made in class and stuff like that, it made it worth it. Sometimes you would, if you're just involved with your professor like that, you would just race from, I guess, teacher was taking the elevator, so you race up the stairs to see who gets to the classroom first, and then have a little bit of a chit chat conversation before the teacher got in there. Some teachers, one of my favorites actually, she would always bring this basket of just like fruits and snacks and stuff like that, which she did not have to, but she would bring it for the class. So sometimes if I showed up to class late, I would just show up in class. People already know my personality. I would just show up, be like, "Hey, what's up, y'all?" Because I never was the type to get embarrassed for showing up to class late. That's kind of what I was known for occasionally, because sometimes I would sleep past I was tired at night. But I would show up to class late, and while the teacher would explain, I'd be like, "Hey, teacher, what's up, y'all?" I just go through the gift basket, and they're like, "Bro, you always eating. You always grabbing an orange." And I'd be like, "You got something to say?" "Nah." "All right, let me get this second orange." Yeah. So yeah, it's just like, it was nice to have these little moments in P-Tech, even though the entire class was difficult. But I'd always, and some people in my class would always bring some comedy, some humor. Like, even though it was all difficult, you would never make the entire session serious. Just nah. So it's just, as long as you just have a nice class or some good peers to keep you pushing, you're all good. Then you're set. you're set. And the person that was helping run the program, if he had some difficulties with the teachers, he would try and sort out the situation as much as he could, whether it wasn't feedback to a particular email or they're not doing their job efficiently as they should, whatever. They get held accountable. Your situation gets figured out. It's all good. Just make sure you have some nice coordinators, some nice
Right.
advisors, some nice peers, some nice teachers, and you're set. So even though it's hard, you'll figure out a way to navigate it in a very good way.
No, wow, that is so good. We're gonna lighten up things a little bit because you're gonna talk to us. When we spoke to you behind the scenes, you talked to us about your new passion in cooking, and let's just go there with that.
Okay. Last year I was like 209 pounds. So I was like, okay, let's see if I can cut down a little bit because I definitely have been eating a little bit because it was summer. So I was definitely eating like a little bit. So I was like, okay, let me take about 3 hour walks. I was speaking to my friend about it. He was like, you could just run for like a solid hour instead of walking, but I hate running and I would rather walk. So I walked for like 3 hours to make up for 1 hour for just running. And obviously you can't just work out and then eat like an entire pizza pie. Nah. You have to figure out what works out for what you're like trying to do. I was doing just pure cardio. And so I would just cook me these different dishes like it was like some salmon and grits or whatever. I would cook my salmon with some red onions or whatever because apparently that helped a lot with like cardio exercises and stuff like that. I would get experimental with my cooking. I started really developing this weird obsession for Caesar salads for some reason, but it was all just really good and I was experimenting. And then I got to a point where I wanted to just do muscular exercises. So I started to just eat a lot more protein and I would cook like some chicken and I would get more experimental with the seasonings and make it taste how I liked. But eventually, I kind of did cut back on just pure exercises. I was like, okay, let's see if I can do some desserts. I'd make some banana bread. That was something I was getting into. I wouldn't count it as dessert maybe, but I would make banana pancakes. That was my favorite as well. My favorite type of thing to make. And I would get into making some ziti for my family as well. I started to just experiment with a whole lot of stuff that I was starting to enjoy. But also since I was coming of age to 18, there was going to come a point where I have to move out of my parents' house, whether I like it or not. I got to go out there and face the world on my own. And obviously I can't be living off of mama's spaghetti every single night. So I had to figure out how to make some stuff of my own. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to ask my mama to write down every single one of her recipes on a post-it and just bring that with me to my new apartment downtown. Nah, I wasn't going to do that. So I decided to experiment on my own, search up recipes for like, nah, I don't want this. Let me just throw in a little bit of this, make it work for me. And now I got some recipes on deck. I know how to make dessert. I know how to make dinner. I know how to make breakfast. And even though it isn't a huge variety, I know it's going to keep me alive to the next day. And it's edible. So I ain't even that worried about it. So yeah, now that I'm like 18 now, we're just going to have to come a point where I do have to like start saving up and moving on my own. And I'm confident that now when I go shopping, I actually have a list. So yeah.
So you actually what you did, you self-taught yourself how to cook. That's truly amazing.
Beautiful.
That's doing introspection, I would call it, because you look at yourself and you tell yourself, I don't like what I'm seeing. Right. How can I change what I'm seeing? And you now take inspired action, Lady J.
Yeah.
Take inspired action.
Inspired action. You're using my line now.
Yeah, I know, right? Take inspired action. And that is how now you self-taught yourself, how am I going to do this? So I'm
beautiful.
Do this, I'm gonna do that. I look at a couple of videos, but I'm gonna change things up to my taste, the way how I like it. And that's such a beautiful thing.
It's really beautiful.
You're thinking ahead. When I get to my new apartment, my mom is not going to be there to cook for me. I will have to be a man on my own now. How am I going to prepare my meals for myself? So you're thinking forward. That's forward thinking.
Forward thinking.
And that's truly amazing. And you're speaking to the youths as well, because many times the youths say, oh, I can't wait to get out from mom's house, but are you ready?
Right. Are you
Are you
prepared?
ready to get out from mom's house? Because you need to have certain things lined up to get out from mom's house. And now you're saying to us, I have my cooking part down. I can check that off.
Right.
So when I move into my new apartment, I can cook my meals for myself and I can take care of me. Great job, Marcellus. Great job.
It's great job. And I would even throw in a layer there. It's like living from the end, because you already set the tone. You already forward thinking. You're thinking about when I get my apartment, because as you mentioned that you know that there will come a time where you're going to be on your own, and you would want to set your recipes so you're already doing that. You're having the level of emotion, and you're already feeling what it feels like. For me, having my apartment, living there, I'm cooking and making all these recipes and the banana bread. And talk about the joy for your family when you cook. Share
So my mom is in her 50s now. So she isn't going to be completely active when it comes down to cooking 24/7, especially when she has to work on top of that. She's going to be exhausted. So I will occasionally, like, when my mom goes shopping, I'll take out some like party wings. And actually last night I took some out last night. I seasoned some and I gave my mom some. She liked it. Tastes really good. She wanted a lot more spice with hers, but that's besides the point. I gave her some wings. Like I said, I made ziti for my family. And usually when I do cook, they're very grateful when I cook, for sure. Yeah. But also sometimes cooking is more of an emotional thing. Like I want to cook, but sometimes it also comes down to your whole fam is hungry. So even if you aren't in the mood to cook, look out for them regardless. So that's why I still season. Even if I'm not feeling that hungry, I still season for them so they can always make them a little something if they want to.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so, yeah, I mean, they're usually very happy, but sometimes I just season it and I just come back to my room and I do my own thing. Whether it's me just talking to my friends or whatever. They don't ever like burst down my door to say, hey, what you made is like really good. And I'll be like, okay. They don't really do that, but I know they're definitely fed. I know they're solid. So as long as that's the only thing going on, then I'm set.
Nice. Right there, that's gratitude.
Right there.
That's gratitude, because
that's beautiful.
you come to the realization that my mom did so much for me. What can I do in return to show her gratitude? And you decided, you know what? I'm going to show up. I'm going to cook. I'm going to teach myself how to cook, so that when my mom comes home, she could have a hot meal. She could add her a little more spices to it. But the main fact, there is a meal waiting for her. And I could guarantee you that she appreciates it.
Right. Yeah.
I could guarantee you, yes, that she really appreciates what you're doing for her. And that is reciprocity. Right there is reciprocity.
Of course.
You recognize what she set for you as a foundation, and you're standing there now and you say, what can I do back for my mom to make her happy when she come home from work?
What an amazing son.
Right away you said, you know what, I would be prepare meals for my mom.
Beautiful.
Natalie's asking, what two motivational tips can you share with others who will go through this experience soon?
Good question.
The cooking tips. Really just, all right, here's a motivational tip. Respectfully, you ain't trying to spend a band to just eat a filet mignon with some asparagus, peppercorn flakes, or whatever. You would rather probably spend a solid $200, season it on your own, cook it at home yourself, and then make a food that's a lot better than the restaurant down the street. I think something motivational is saving money to make something better than what you could have spent that money on. I say that's definitely one tip, because at the end of the day, if you really know how to cook for yourself, then restaurants are essentially useless. Whether it's like a date situation, if they trust you enough, just cook for them at home. Or if you're just trying to go out with your friends, nah, I'm about to make some. We about to do a cookout over here, whatever. You can always just do everything at home. But sometimes we feeling lazy as people, and we would rather order out or whatever. So it's all good. But I say that's a motivational tip. Like, you can save your money for something else. You can just drop a solid 100 buying some seasoning, the packaging, and like the food and stuff. Get yourself some Minute Maid, some drinks or whatever. Just go ahead and set it all up for yourself, and you straight. And you also get leftovers at the same time, so it's you get more, yeah. And then I would say as a second motivational tip for anybody that I guess is just like getting into cooking is keep an open mind for trying dishes that you never thought you would like. I never really made ziti, or I never really tried ziti before. My household was very spaghetti, but when I like tasted ziti, I was like, you know what? I think this is something that I want to make at home. Like, be experimental with food. Definitely try some things that even if you think you might not like 100%, it might taste good. So my motivational tip is just be wild, be open-minded, just try things that are in your comfortability zone. Obviously, if something looks inedible and your survival instincts are saying, Brody, don't eat that, then don't eat that. But if something is saying, hey, maybe this might taste good, just go ahead and try it and be like, let me get the name for this so I can actually search it up online and see if I can make this stuff at home, because this actually slaps. So those are my two motivational tips right there. I guess just keep an open mind, and I would say saving money is always something that's motivational for me personally. So,
Good job. Good job. Let's talk about your book, I Can't Live Up to You.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great pick.
Okay. So I made this book, or there's actually a lot of history behind it actually. In my junior year, yes, end of my junior year, I got in touch with this publishing company because I had this idea for a book. But I never ended up getting back to them because I wasn't sure. Like I said, I was still trying to figure out my style of writing, and I didn't feel confident enough to deliver the message that I wanted to for my book. I didn't feel like my writing was good enough, and eventually another company got back to me in like December, and they're like, hey, we can work with you to make your book thing come true. And I was okay. I've been working on my writing for a long. Wait, that was my senior year. Okay, so the original thing was end of sophomore year, and then they got back to me in December of senior year. And I was like, yeah, I'm down to make this stuff happen. And so I wanted to make a book because I care a lot about the younger generation.
Nice.
I wanted to put down experiences of mine personally that mattered a lot to me, that led to a lot of my progression. Though there were also some experiences that I left out because I didn't feel like I could tackle that idea in the right way I wanted to, whether it was too much history behind it. And I'm not trying to write an entire bibliography or none of that. I'm trying to write some pieces and put enough stuff in it to where it's not like I'm writing an entire story, but you're also understanding what I'm saying at the same time. So I wrote this book really for anybody that graduated high school that wants to look back on some experiences, because I tossed in some love things in there, some love poems. I tossed in some self-identity questioning poems in there as well. I put in some issues with like family and stuff in there, because even though there are experiences that I could have strictly limited to high school, I really put down experiences that I went through in high school and outside overall. The experiences really just came with high school. But I made this for anybody to look back on experiences they may or may not have been through, because obviously there's going to be drama in high school. Obviously there's going to be some love things. Obviously there's going to be some self or identity crisis and figuring out what you want to do for yourself. Obviously there may be people that want a third party on your education and tell you what you should do with yourself rather than what you're currently pursuing. It's going to be a lot of that. So I put down a lot of poems that with those ideas in mind, that I wanted to include in this piece for anybody to just look back on and stuff like that. But obviously there's definitely a lot more other pieces that I could have included, because high school for the course, there's like 29 pieces inside of the book. But obviously through 4 years there's so many other experiences, and I just plan on writing a lot more about those and then just posting it online or just performing them without my book. But also just so people know, like, there's a lot more to my character than just everything that's in this book. But I put down events that were major to me personally within the book. So yeah, I wrote my book for people going through high school to feel like they weren't alone, and people that graduate in high school that want to look back on the experiences of theirs.
Wow. That's truly, that is truly amazing, that you use your experiences to help the future generations, and that was very thoughtful. It was very, very thoughtful, because you're looking at the future generation. How can they really navigate high school life? Now, here is a person who walked that path. You write this book that they can read the book. Of course, everybody experiences different.
Of course.
But there are certain things that do happen in high school, and I Can't Live Up to You is really going to help some generations to really understand how they can walk through high school life. Congratulations to you.
Yep, definitely. Congratulations
to you.
Thank you.
And I really like the words you have in the book: unlovable, broken, hopeless, forgetful, tired, indecisive, guilty, hateful, shattered, worthy, love, connection, healing, hope. This is truly amazing. This is truly amazing.
Thank you.
Because a lot of kids, those are the words that they're processing in their heads. And picking up a book, I Can't Live Up to You, and reading this book, it could be a light bulb moment for some kid. It could be a light bulb moment for a child. So this is truly amazing. This is absolutely amazing. So
thank you.
In this book, I Can't Live Up to You, did you address parents as well?
I did, actually. I put in the expectations that my mother had for me, obviously looking out for me just as her son. But I put down how that affected me personally. And it's actually one of the first poem in the book, actually, is titled Mother's Dream. And I write about how that impacted me coming into high school. And it actually kicks off the rest of it, because I Can't Live Up to You is a book about the idea of hoping that you can become this version of yourself that feels a lot more confident in who they want to be, as opposed to who you are currently now coming into high school. And that's actually why I have a little version of me on the left side, and an older version of me on the right side, is because I'm coming into high school as a complete novice. I'm not sure who I am. I am the same person I was back in middle elementary school. I haven't had that much experience, so internally I still feel like a kid. And I'm just hoping that I can eventually grow into being this older version of myself that's a lot more confident in what they want and what they want to do. And so the entire point of the book is I'm putting down these experiences that contributed a lot to who I ended up becoming, what kind of shaped my mentality, but also the trials and tribulations I had to go through to eventually become who I am now. I definitely feel like I could have tackled certain ideas in this book a lot better, as I put in pieces throughout the months and stuff, because it was a lot of writing. And it's also very difficult because and kind of using this to answer the question that was commented, which is what are your biggest lessons from your process of writing your book? A lot of my pieces were spoken word, and so I had to figure out how to write in a reading way than incorporate choreography and projection here at these certain parts and stuff like that, because spoken word poetry and writing poetry are two complete different things. And so it was a first for me, and that's why I said I could have definitely tackled certain ideas in this book better, is because it was my first time actually putting together something chronological in a reading poetry format. But that's not to say that my writing isn't bad at all. Actually, I've had a lot of people look through a couple of the pieces in the book and they all love it. It's really good. But overall, this book is something that matters a lot to me. I really want to reach a lot of people with this book. I really want people to understand that they are not alone. I want people to understand that they're going to go through a lot of trials and tribulations in this book. And as you just asked me, yes, that is going to come with expectations from parents as well. And yeah, I want to incorporate those in the book. So I tried my best to incorporate them the best I could.
Wow. Natalie's asking, what top 3 educational experiences have delivered the most value to you and driven your progression and achievements?
Good question, Natalie.
Well, actually, to answer that question, I'm sorry, I'm going off camera. I do want to show something that contributed a lot. So, my college, or not my college, one of my high school teachers, they gave me this. It's a purple owl that they gave me during graduation, and this owl actually has a lot of memories in it, because during high school, because they would give me a lot more leeway. Oh, shoot. Okay. Because my high school classes would give a lot more leeway and the teachers were a lot more interactive with their students, one thing my class loved to do was gaslight me into believing that this owl did not exist in our class whatsoever. And it was to a point where even the teacher was in on it. And he tried to gaslight me into believing. And I have a whole video dedicated to my whole class saying the owl isn't there, Marcellus, the owl isn't there. And they're literally shoving it in my face. But from an educational experience perspective, it definitely made me feel very excited to be in that class for sure. And during graduation, when he said, "Hey, I got something for you," and he showed me this, even my class was like, "What did he give you? There's nothing there that he gave you." It was funny, but from an educational perspective, it definitely led me to want to learn a lot from the teacher. It led me to wanting to learn a lot more in the class overall, and it's so good. But that was just top one for me personally, because it made me excited about school. I didn't know that high school would be like this and that teachers were this interactive with their students in their class. It was beautiful, and just looking back on it, it just symbolizes so much for me. One of my top 2 is that a lot of teachers, from an educational perspective, they were very laid back. I had this one teacher, I'm gonna call him Mr. R, and he taught Black history, or just history overall. And the one person that he looked up to a lot, that he would always constantly bring up, was Malcolm X, and how he looked up to the things that he did and what he did for the community and stuff. And from an educational perspective, even though in a way it was kind of repetitive because of how much he spoke about it, there was a lot of things that he said that I internalized and a lot of my class internalized that helped us really memorize, or not memorize, but learn more about what happened before our time and what happened in history, what happened in the 1900s, back with segregation and everything was going on. And it's nice to keep those things in mind. So from an educational perspective, I would say laid back teachers that share their role models and stuff like that, depending on the class, can be very educational, and that helped me keep things on mind. And 3, most value. Well, my freshman teacher actually ended up being my college advisor. So from an educational perspective, I guess I really just got my entire class, and I got really in touch with his personality and his teaching style and how he is as a person. So when he became our college advisor, it was very easy to navigate. He was very easy to speak to. He was very helpful and consistent, and just, yeah, I would say that those are just top 3. And they led to my progression and achievements because obviously I was able to speak to these different teachers, like my history teacher, about, hey, you spoke about Malcolm X, about this and this and this. So I know that this next exam that you're going to give us that includes history and stuff like that, I'm about to ace this. Or like the teacher I just said that was my teacher freshman year that became my college advisor. I know how to navigate you. You're going to help me with my progression and achievements because now I can talk to you about things that are college related. Or like the teacher that ended up giving me this owl. This in itself is a huge achievement for just overcoming high school because I got this at the end of my journey for just being interactive with my class and being involved with everybody. And it was just awesome. I actually had one project where I had to make a skit for my high school class, and I got to interact with a lot of my classmates too. And it made me very happy. It kept me pushing forward because I was like, well, if this project was fun, what's the next one? But it was also the same class where I had to finish a project in like 15 minutes because the rest of my classmates didn't do it. So it also showed the determination that I had as well, because a lot of people spent several days making a project. I had to finish it in 15 minutes, and I managed to do it very efficiently. So I got a high grade for it. So yeah.
There was a statement that when behind the scenes having a conversation with you, you said, strict parents make sneaky children.
Absolutely, yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that statement.
Just my household has kind of been one where my mom was very realistic about the type of things that I may or may not want to do as a teenager. And so because of that, she knew that if she ever tried to restrict me from doing those things, that I would just do it behind her back and inevitably, because I'm a teenager, I'm going to want to do this stuff. So instead of telling me to suppress my heart, she would just tell me to open it instead. And so with that in mind, my household was just more of an honest one. But unfortunately, a lot of kids don't have the luxury of being completely honest with their parents because they just, I guess, I'm not going to say I guess, but they have, I can't speak for all parents, but they have this mentality that their kid has to fit this particular standard. And so because of that, if they're ever stepping out of line in any way, their first immediate reaction is either freak out or get upset at their kid. So then their kid has to go around behind their backs trying to not get caught doing these different things because they're afraid about how they're going to get caught, what their parents' reaction is going to be and stuff like that. And so when it comes down to just strict parents and sneaky kids, obviously that's where like certain tropes like using a pillow to pretend that you're in bed, so when your mom comes into your room, obviously she doesn't check underneath the bam, you actually went through your window like a whole hour ago and she don't even know. Like, it's just stuff like that is not the type of stuff that I feel like a parent should want from their kid. And I would really like it if parents were a lot more open about their kids just actually growing into their own people, because at the end of the day, there's going to come a point in time where you go from being an adolescent that needs their mother for everything to being an actual independent person, and you're going to want your own freedom to do these different things. And so if parents can't accept that, it's just eventually going to lead to an emotional disconnect. And parents, more than anything, I feel should want to have an emotional connection to their child. So instead of forcing them to eventually make lies, I think it's better to just let them be vulnerable and speak their truth, because it's just going to lead to a huge disconnect between you and your child. And so, yeah, just that's really just what I have to say about the strict parents make sneaky children. There'll be a lot more things I can say, but just right off the dome, that's really what I have to say.
Yeah, that is such a good point, because a lot of times you find there is a lot of breakdown between children and their parents, because sometimes you find that, again, we the era that we grew up in is a totally different era than what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And we need to really adjust ourselves around that, because sometimes it's very difficult for us to really adjust ourselves around the era that the youths that are growing up now, they are very fast, quick learning, and sometimes you find that parents cannot really even catch up to them. They really can't catch up to what is happening. And I really like when you said as well, we as parents need to allow our children to grow.
Right.
We as parents, we tend to get in the way of our children growth, as parents, of course, yes, we want to look over your shoulder, make sure you're doing the right thing, because we want you to be a particular way, very successful, and all of that good stuff. But at a set time, the parenting skills need to be adjusted a little bit, so whereby the child could communicate more with the parent and not be sneaky. There should be a more vulnerable communication between parents and children. They can come to you and say, mom or dad, this is what it is, and be comfortable without judgment. Be comfortable without judgment, because what normally happens is that when kids grow up in a home like that and they keep suppressing things all the time, and when they go into adulthood, that's called trauma. That's a whole nother story, because they're suppressing their voice. They cannot speak. So because of that, when they get into adulthood, that individual start to experience trauma, and they become voiceless. They can't speak. They cannot speak up for themselves. So we as parents really need to take a hard look at how we are really giving a child that opening to be vulnerable with us, and give that child a voice, that child could speak and say how they feel. And it's okay. We may want something to be a particular way, but it's okay to give that child a voice. That child needs to speak how they're feeling. It's okay for them to say, something, mom or dad, I really don't like that. I know that you like that or dad like that, but I really don't like that. And it's okay to give them a voice. It's okay. Right, Lady J?
Right, exactly. So that's so true, and that brings back one of the points that Marcellus was saying, which allow them to be there, speak their truth, be themselves, because I think you get more out of the person when you allow them to just be.
Absolutely.
You get more out of them. So if there's nothing else can be taken away by the parent and the kids and emotion and attachment, you're just giving them the self freedom, safe, but level of freedom and the communication. That's why mindset plays such a major role, because when there's an open mindset, there's open communication, and we can have a level of understanding. And I think trust plays a major role too as well, that the parent can trust the kid and the kid can trust the parent, because they can come with an open communication, and that we can all be on the same page. And this is express your emotion, how you feel. I just want to give shout out to Annie, who's in the house as well.
And he's in the house. He is. Yes, he is in the house,
So I mean, you have served us so beautifully well. You have enriched us with your story, with your experience, with all your tips, with your cooking, your preparation for the future, living from the end. Your mindset has been so broad. You inspired us. You give us great insight and new perspective, how the younger generation, when you're looking at college, you're looking at high school, how you're navigating through that space, and prepare yourself, and what are some of the tools that you can incorporate in your, of course, each his own, but there's some of the common tools that, when you mentioned in one part of the discussion where you spoke about the level of self-esteem, that if you had, now your self-esteem is different, but prior to then, if you had a little more, then you can speak up more, ask more questions, and stuff like that. So you have really enlightened us. This is how it's done.
Thank you.
This is how it's done. When you're looking to move forward and knowing what you want, and give yourself the opportunity, and knowing that you're still discovering yourself when you're moving from high school. And congratulations between the two spaces, high school and college simultaneously. What an achievement. What an accomplishment within that space. And so much things that you have learned when you talk about your anatomy and physiology and you talk about psychology. Look what you've learned in those pages, but since starting from 14. Are we correct?
How old are you now,
Yeah.
Marcellus? How old are you?
18.
Right. But
Wow.
starting from 14, right? And look where you are now and the wealth of experience that you have, and you have this book which is called I Can't Live Up to You, and which you have 29, is it 29 chapters?
29 poems. Yeah.
29 poems. Thank you. 29 poems in there, which is so enriching. Where can we find that book? Is it on Amazon?
Yes, it will be. It should be on miltonandhugo.com by the 30th of this month, and the first week of August it should be available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, all that. It should be available anywhere, any bookstore. Yeah.
Wow.
Good job.
Thank you.
At 18 years, good job. Good job, Marcellus. And when all the rest of when all the other links are ready, can you send it to us and we can put it on our platforms for you? Yeah.
Absolutely. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Wow.
Wow.
You're a true inspiration.
Yeah, he is. You're a true inspiration to that youth that is, as I said before, right at that crossroad and don't know where to navigate, where to go. After listening to you, it's very motivational.
Of course.
Listening to you explaining the whole thing, high school and college, it's very motivational, and it's to help an individual to understand that we don't have to have it all figured out.
No.
We learn as we go along.
Of course.
It's a journey of learning and discovering a self-discovery, self-discovery. Every day you're discovering something about yourself. Sometimes you may start it off saying, you know what, I'm gonna write this book. And then you may change and say, you know what, I really want to do a podcast. Or you might change and say you want to do something. It's okay. Once you're doing something to serve humanity and bringing goodness to the world, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're helping the world. You're helping to make a difference in the world. And that is all that matters. You're helping to make a difference in one child's life. That's all that matters. Every day that we wake up, and we wake up with inspiration to help someone out in this world, it's such a blessing. It is a blessing. And
right
you
on,
feel so good. Yeah, you feel so good when you could wake up. And the thing is that when you wake up in the morning and you feel so inspired, and for instance, I know you are a poet, and when you wake up and then you got all these things just rushing through, and you just want to run for the book right away and start writing, because it's all these things just coming through, all these downloads just coming through to you, and as the downloads come true, it's not for you alone. It's to help the world at large.
Right.
That's the beautiful thing. It's not for you alone. It's to help the world at large. And one thing I must tell you is that, and I know Lady J is going to feel the same way too, is that you listen. And because you listen, that is how you're able to take the inspired action.
There you go.
Because you listen, because many times we are moving through, but we're not listening. And because we're not listening, we miss a lot of stuff. So that is why we got to pause and we got to listen. And when we listen, we got to write, because it's very important that we write. Because when we write, we can always go back and understand exactly what we're writing. So, Marcellus, this evening you served us well. And the audience really helped to bring this message home, because they help to bring the best out from you this evening as well.
Yeah.
And we so appreciate you taking the time and sitting with us and sharing your story with us.
It is no problem.
Thank you so much for doing that. And the beautiful thing is that I showed up at an event. And when I showed up at an event, there is where I met Marcellus. And after I met Marcellus, I came and I told Lady J, I said, Lady J, we got to interview this guy. I said, this guy is amazing. We got to interview this guy because his story could help some youth out there who is experiencing a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations. His story can help someone, you know, and that is how Marcellus is here this evening.
Yeah.
And we can guarantee you that someone who is going to listen to this replay, either a parent or a youth, this podcast will be able to transform their life. We are so grateful for you. We are so grateful that you're remaining very humble, you know, because a lot of times things get to people's head, you know, and you're remaining very humble. We are grateful for your mother, Letitia, for giving you that foundation that you can stand on as a parent, you know, and helping you navigate as you move through high school and college, that now you can able to gather all that experience that you went through and put it into a book that can help the future generation. So we want to give the thank to you, your mom, your family, your professors, your teachers at high school, because each one of them served a role in your life.
Yeah.
They helped to shape you to the man that we are seeing today. Each person, even to your peer groups, your friends, your community, each one of those help you to be the man that you are today.
Right.
And we are grateful for that.
And we want to thank them because that is how we're talking to you today. For you to share your story and everything with us. And we're going to also get the information of Dr. Raz to you so that you guys can able to connect on that Baltimore where you're going to share and that level 2 as well.
Yes.
It's a true joy.
It is. It's a true joy to have him here this evening.
And the audience were so amazing. Great questions.
Yeah.
Natalie, Dr. Raz, and everybody else in the house. You know, it's truly amazing. A true joy. It was a great discussion.
Yes. Yeah, we really
thank you because you are the one who really inspired us in this moment. Great insight, new perspective. And you've given us a lot of clarity when we're looking at high school and college and everything else we talk about. It's truly amazing. So we just want to say thank you so much and that we are proud of you and we wish you continued success, which we know that you are because you've already paving that way and you're planting those seeds and together with your mom and family. So shout out to Mr. Tisha as well.
Yeah. And we're gonna switch gears a little bit now. You know, I just want to say happy birthday to you, Joan, my sister, because tomorrow you will be celebrating your birthday. And it's truly amazing. This was quite a journey for us as growing up as kids, you know, and it's a true honor to have you as my sister. You know, you've been my rock. You've been my support throughout my years, you know, my highs, my lows. You're always there for me, you know, and it's a blessing to call you my sister because a lot of times people would ask me, what is that secret sauce that holds the two of you together so close, you know? And that's our mom and our grandmother. Our mom and our grandmother. Because the foundation that we are standing on is just pure love. Pure love. Pure love. And I just want to thank you so much for being my sister because I am really fortunate to have you as my sister. because I know there is not a lot of people who can say a word like that, you know. And I'm grateful for you, and I am thankful for you. And myself and my husband, we just want to wish you a beautiful day tomorrow, which you may know every day is a beautiful day for you, because you always see the beauty in every day. And I always remember many days you would send me, you would go outside and you would send me pictures of the clouds, or you would send me pictures of the blossom on the trees or the flowers, you know, and it clearly shows the beautiful person that you are, the beautiful soul that you are. And I am grateful. I am so thankful for you in my life. You know, I am so happy that we decided to make this trip together, because it's a beautiful trip we made. And we are making a difference in the world, you know, one day at a time. You know, we started Soul Light and Body. We didn't know where it was going, but Soul Light and Body have evolved into so many spaces and into so many things. And we also want to thank also want to thank Tommy Thompson behind the scenes, because he is a part of this birth. We birthed something, we didn't know where it was going, but the birth was a miraculous birth. It was a birth to help humanity. It was a birth that so extraordinary. And we just want to thank you so much, you know, for being the special woman and amazing soul that you are. I love you, my sister, so much, and I love you dearly. Thank you so much. Love you, girl.
Wow. Wow, that's a surprise. That's a surprise. You got me tearing up here. I just want to say I just want to say thank you for right back to you, because I know our mom and our grandmother who are our heroes, and they have already transitioned and gone beyond. But I know that wherever whatever spirit is that lives on is we live in that through them right now, if I'm saying it right or correctly. But I'm so proud that you, my sister, I'm so proud of you, the woman that you are as well, and who you've bloom and blossom and continue to evolve in this world. And I just want to say thank you. It's true honor for me, and it's really really special. And living a life of service and sharing space with you every time, or and if it's any space that we do share space individually or collectively, it's always a beautiful thing. And you know, I'm truly grateful for my life, where I am in this moment, and that I could continue to serve and to give and to share and to collaborate and do all that good stuff, and you know, writing books and together, and you know, all of that stuff that we do, you know, it's truly amazing, you know. And it's just blessing, you know. I mean, first we'd be our spirituality and the level that we move on is on God, and we just want to say thanks to him for enriching us and doing what we do on a daily basis. So I truly love you, and to call you as my sister too. And it's just love and just love. And I'm there's so many gratitude, my tongue being tied up here, but it's out of emotion. And I'm truly grateful, and I'm thankful, and I'm thankful for everything that's who you are. And Daniel, which he's my brother, but I say brother because he's very special to us. And my niece, which is your daughter Tremaine, and Zane, which is my great nephew, and Tim. And you know, it's just a beautiful thing when, but you spoke about love as a foundation, right? And when you can thrive and love and live and love, and regardless however life may move, but if you have love, which is the bedrock, I should say, that keep us going and keep us elevated. So together we stand with love, and it's just beautiful. And I just want to just say thank you, and I'm proud of you for everything you do and everything that's who you are. Love you.
Love you too, my sister. Love you, love you, love you, love you. You know,
Yeah.
and it is such a beautiful thing, you know, when we can come together and we can make a difference. You know, as Marcellus share his story, he's making a difference in the world.
Yeah.
You know, as Annie said, he's leaving a legacy behind.
Yeah.
You know, look at yourself this evening as you start this new week. What are you leaving behind?
That's a good question.
Benefit
Right.
the generation to come after
Right.
you.
Right.
What are you leaving behind that would benefit the generation that is coming after you?
Right.
You know, and
That
thank
is
you,
beautiful.
Tommy.
Thank
And
you, Tommy Thompson.
the thing is that we have a choice. We have a choice. We have a chance because we are here right now.
Right.
You know, we are in the present. We have a chance. We have a choice. And it's all your choice. Whatever you choose to do, it's your
Right.
choice. You know, and be grateful for every moment that you live.
Yeah.
Be grateful.
Yeah.
Honor your moments that you live. Honor your past relationships because it helped to mold you and to shape you to the person that you are today.
Right.
Do not criticize, do not judge people because we do not know. We do not know people's story. So today, ask yourself what legacy you're leaving behind.
Right.
As you go out on the streets, motivate somebody who you see because you don't know what a person is going through on a daily basis. You really don't know.
Right.
A kind word or an act of kindness could change that person's life. You know, so look around for the things that you can do to make a difference in this world. Just look around. There are many things that we can do to make a difference in this world. Small act of kindness we all can do to make a difference in this world. Show up authentically and be a person that is going to make a difference in this world. We love you all. Thank you for sitting with us this evening. And Marcellus, thank you for taking the time and sharing your beautiful story with us.
No
because
problem.
You know what? We know you've touched one person this evening.
Yeah.
You have touched one person this evening. We can guarantee you that with your story that you shared. And to the viewers, once again, thank you so much for your beautiful comments, your beautiful questions.
Yeah.
Natalie, Dr. Raz, Annie, Tina Simpson, Brianna, Mary from Positive Pineapple, Lisa, the menopause dietitian and coach. We want to thank, and if it's anybody that we're missing, we just want to thank each and every one of you. Thank you. Thank you. April just show up here. April, thank you so much for joining us.
April.
Thank you. And thank you for all the birthday wishes for Lady G. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all.
And don't forget to subscribe to Soul Light and Body that you would never miss none of these episodes. As well, in the footnotes, you will see the 246 Bajan Vibes family classified as with goods and services. You can support them as well. And don't forget, we are here for you. We are here to serve you. And we're going to be here every week, showing up for you, bringing a guest to inspire you, to motivate you, and to help you to experience transformation.
Don't forget our books.
Yes, on Amazon, Your Gut in You and Self-Care is Intentional. And we will be posting a post with Marcellus' link to his book. We're going to be, look out for that post. It's going to be coming soon. We're going to post so you could purchase that book for yourself or for someone who you know have youths that is coming behind. They can read that book. Thank you so much, Marcellus. And once again, thank you to the community for joining us. We love each and every one of you.
Thank you, my sister. I love you.
Bye-bye.
Love you too. Love you, love you, love you. Love you guys so much.
Have a good night, y'all.
You too, Marcellus. Bye-bye.
Bye.